Service Pack 9 online demo session. My name is Ilyas. I am the instructor for this course. So first I will give you a brief introduction about myself, then we will move on to our demo session today. My name is Ilyas. I did master's degree in computer applications. In 1998, I started my career as a Java developer. In 2000, I switched to SAP. In SAP, as a ABAPer in SD, MM, FI modules. From 2002 onwards, I am working as a SAP BW consultant. In SAP BW, I started working with 2.0B versions, then 2.1, 3.0B, 3.1, and my current project with BW 7.4 with Service Pack 8 and with HANA as well as native HANA. Total, I have 14 plus years of experience in SAP, out of which 12 years in SAP BW Business Objects and SAP HANA. When SAP acquired the Business Objects in 2008, from 2008 onwards, I am working as a BW Business Objects consultant. In Business Objects, I worked with SAP BOBI tools, SAP BODS, which is an EAM tool, and SAP BOPC, which is an EPM tool of SAP. My specialization in SAP BOBI, report development on top of SAP HANA, SAP BW, other SAP Business Suite applications, as well as non-SAP source systems. My specialization in Webby report development, Crystal report, dashboard design, Business Object Explorer, and Business Object Design Studio. I have total 3 plus years of experience in SAP HANA, starting with Service Pack 2 to Service Pack 8, and recently I upgraded myself to Service Pack 9. So before started working with HANA projects, I completed 2 POC projects with Big 5 consulting companies. My specialization in SAP HANA is data provisioning using Business Object Data Services and SLT, modeling, designing very complex models for finance reporting, sales reporting, inventory reporting, procurement, as well as CRM, marketing and service reporting, predictive analysis or integration with SAP HANA, decision tables, backup and recovery, integration with Business Objects Design Studio. So I have good experience with the integration of Hadoop with SAP HANA as well, which is a new enhancements given by SAP from Support Pack 8 onwards. From Support Pack 8 onwards, SAP has given tighter integration with Hadoop. In fact, in Support Pack 9 also, there are so many enhancements as far as integration with Hadoop is concerned. We are going to focus on Hadoop with integration between Hadoop to HANA also. Coming to my functional experience, finance and accounting, accounts payable, account receivable, general ledger, controlling, sales and distribution, material management, CRM. So I have been training in different areas of SAP since last 12 years in North America, in Canada, and US. As of now, I'm leading a team for one of my clients in Minneapolis with SAP BW with SAP HANA and native HANA. So this is my teaching experience. ABAP, total I have 9 years of teaching experience. BW 12 years, SAP BW with CRM 6 years, BW with SAP HANA 3 years, SAP BOBI 8 years, SAP BOBI with SAP HANA 3 years, and HANA 3 years. So these are my certifications. I'm a certified HANA consultant, BW consultant, and Business Objects consultant. So these are some of our direct clients. After training, we'll do the placement as well. Well, today's our class agenda is, first of all, we'll start with a brief introduction to SAP HANA. What is SAP HANA? high performance analytical appliance? What is the necessity of a SAP HANA, a high performance appliance like SAP HANA to an enterprise in today's situation? Then what is the course content? That is very important. What are the topics we'll be covering in this course? Because SAP HANA is very vast. That too, in Support Pack 9, there are so many new features given by SAP. So all these are the new Support Pack 9 features. Support Pack 9 features related to data services, Support Pack 9 features, okay, data tiering, okay, how to create the calculation views using, okay, Web IDE, integration development environment. There are so many new features are given by SAP in Support Pack 9. So what are the topics we'll be covering as a part of this course? Basically the course roadmap, you can say. Then what are the prerequisites for this course? Who are the target audience? Who can attend this course? And prerequisites, target audience, the okay, prerequisites and career prospects, blah blah blah. Last we'll move on to questionnaires. Okay. So for every 15 minutes, I will give some time. If you guys have any questions, you can go ahead with your questions. And by the end of this session also, we'll spend significant amount of time in order to answer your questions. First of all, what is SAP HANA? High Performance Analytical Appliance. SAP HANA is a technology which allows the processing of huge quantity of real-time data in the main memory of a server to provide near-time results from the transactions. Well, at this point of time, this definition is too technical for me. Leave this definition. First of all, we'll focus on what is the present day scenario in any enterprise, what type of challenges, what type of consequences they are facing, and why they required a HANA, a high performance appliance like SAP HANA. What leads to a high performance appliance like SAP HANA? Well, after globalization, the enterprises started the operations within the regions, okay, in different regions within the country, in different countries within the continent, okay, in different continents, okay, across the globe. Whenever an enterprise having different operations in different parts of the, okay, in different geographical locations, the data is spread across different geographical locations. That is nothing but information explosion. What is information explosion? Is information, if you look at this slide, in this slide, the enterprise data spread across different geographical locations in different systems, in different formats. See, these are some of the spreadsheets. This is a file system. The enterprise data resides in spreadsheets, in CSV files, in Word document. The enterprise data, okay, resides in social media like Twitter, in form of tweets, in Twitter, in form of text, in the Facebook. And the enterprise data resides, the COPA, cost profitability analysis data resides in a database. Okay, the sales order data resides in a OLAP application. If you look at this, in information explosion scenario, an enterprise data spread across different geographical locations, in different formats, in different systems. Whenever the information explosion is like this, when enterprise, they don't have a single point of access to their entire enterprise data. As a result of information explosion, what are the challenges? What are the consequences they are facing? First, challenges. Complex system landscape. If you look at this system landscape, it's too complex because the enterprise data spread across different geographical locations, in different systems, in different formats. In every business, suppose this is a legal entity, a firm, an enterprise. In every enterprise, starting from CEOs, managing directors, different department heads, sales managers, finance managers, inventory managers, every business user requires the proper analysis. Every business user required information on their fingertips for effective decision making. Well, you are a sales manager. Without proper analysis, you cannot take the decision how to improve the sales in a specific sales area, in a specific sales organization. First of all, you need analysis. So why we are not getting our target figures in this sales organization? Where we are lacking? Are you lacking in high prices, or delivery time that is too long, or our service is not good? Okay. Once you have the proper analysis, then only you can make effective decisions how to improve the sales, how to achieve our target figure in that sales organization. So in every business purpose, for every business decision making, we require proper analysis and reports. For this, the decision maker required the information on their fingertips. So the business users require the information on their fingertips. So whenever you have such a high volume of data, the data spread across different geographical locations in different formats, in different systems, unless until if you don't have a single point of access to entire enterprise data, it's very difficult to provide the information to the right people on right time for decision making. So if you are not providing the right information to the right people on right time, the decision making process delays. Eventually it's affecting the business. And massive growth of data volume. You name any enterprise. After this social media, after this smartphone, the data is growing like anything. In any enterprise, the data is growing very rapidly. Just I will give you a small example. One of the statistics says, like, whatever the data we have, entire world's data, 90% of the data is generated since last 2.5 to 3 years. Just think about this sentence. Okay, whatever the data we have at this point of time, entire world's data, 90% of the data is generated within the span of last 2.5 to 3 years. Just imagine how fast the data is growing. So as a result, the consequences are lack of responsiveness, suboptimal execution speed. Well, you have such a high volume of data, you are executing the queries on such a high volume of data or big data without using proper technologies, without using proper tools, efficient tools. The user will get frustrated. The users who are waiting for the query response time, they will get frustrated. Unsupportable business process, lack of transparency. So if you don't have a single point of access to the entire enterprise data, and in such a complex system landscape, we don't have much transparency. Outdated figures. Guessing current situation is very difficult. As a result, if you don't have a reactive business model, we'll miss the opportunities. Our competitors will take away our opportunities. It's very difficult to sustain in the market. It's very difficult to give the tough competition to our competitors. The business users, well, so we have such a complex system landscape as a result of information explosion. If you look at the business users, first of all, in enterprise, what type of reporting, on what type of data the business user required reporting, for what type of decision making. In enterprise, the business user required reports on historical data. Well, this is a company, ABC Inc. They started their business in 2010. Their fiscal year starts in July, ends in June. So they have 4 years, 4 full fiscal years of data. That is nothing but historical data. The business user required reports on historical data. Why the business user required reports on historical data? We required the reports on historical data for a decision-making process related to forecasting, budgeting, planning, trend analysis. I will give you a small example. What is a forecasting? Why we need a historical data for decisions related to forecasting? Walmart. Everyone knows the Walmart, right? World's biggest retail company, Fortune 1 company. For 2015 Christmas, they have to introduce the gift items for adults, senior citizens, teenagers, okay, and different age group people, okay. So how they are going to make the decisions? They will go back to 2014 Christmas data, 2013 Christmas data, that is historical data, 2012 Christmas data. By analyzing this historical data, they can take the decision what are the gift items they have to introduce for this coming Christmas, for 2015 Christmas. On the other hand, the business users also require the reports on real-time data. Nowadays, real-time analytics is very important. What is real-time data? For example, this is a source system, a transactional system where day-to-day business transactions will happen. For example, a point of sale system. Whenever a sales order is created in this point of sale system, we need the data right away for the reporting purpose. That's it. The moment the record is saved in the transaction system, I need the data reporting on up-to-date data. Accessing the real-time data for real-time analytics. The business users nowadays not only requires reports on historical data, they require reports on real-time data also for some spontaneous decision making. For example, the business user wants to needs reports related to order status tracking reports, delivery status tracking reports, inventory level monitoring reports. So in these type of reports, we require the real-time data for spontaneous decision making. So whenever the business users require real-time data, it's very difficult to get the real-time data from such a complex landscape. Unless until we need to have a proper technology, proper tools which can get the real-time data for real-time reporting. So one of the biggest challenges nowadays is how to get the real-time data for the real-time analytics from such a complex system landscape. Well, whenever a company, an enterprise is managing their big data, their high volume of data, with traditional databases, with traditional tools, with traditional databases, it's very high volume, large data volume. Management of, it's very cost effective management of large data volume. Getting current and complete solution is very difficult. So whenever you are using traditional databases, traditional tools to manage such a high volume of data, big data, whenever we are running the query, we don't know how long it will take. The users who are waiting for the response of the query, they will get frustrated. User frustration. Now we will analyze how a traditional database will work. What are the major bottlenecks in a traditional databases whenever we are managing such a high volume of data or big data using traditional databases. In a traditional database, you name any traditional database. I will call traditional database as XRDBMS. The primary persistence of the data is hard drive, which is a mechanical device. The complete data resides in the hard drive. So whenever we need the data for the reporting or processing, CPU or processor has to perform disk IOs. and we load the data to RAM, which is the main memory, random access memory. So once the data is available in RAM, then we can get the data for the reporting and processing. This is called traditional analytics. In traditional analytics, using traditional databases, we require disk IOs because the primary persistence of the data is hard drive, which is a mechanical device. So whenever we have to read such a high volume of data, then we require significant amount of time for disk IOs, which are major bottlenecks related to speed in traditional databases. Whenever we are using SAP HANA, which is an in-memory database. What is in-memory database is not only in SAP HANA, if you name any in-memory database also. The primary persistence of the data is not hard drive. It's RAM. The complete data resides in the RAM. It's terabytes of data, petabytes of data. Complete data resides in the RAM itself. From RAM, the data is directly available for the reporting. From RAM, the data is directly available for processing. This is called in-memory analytics. Nowadays, in-memory analytics is very famous. In fact, in-memory analytics is very faster when comparing with traditional analytics. Because if you look at the traditional analytics, the major bottlenecks in traditional analytics are disk IOs. Whereas in in-memory database, whenever you are using any in-memory database, so using in-memory database, in-memory analytics is possible. How? Because in any in-memory database, the primary persistence of the data is RAM, not the hard drive. The data is available directly from RAM for the reporting, for the processing. This is in-memory analytics. Always in-memory analytics is very faster when comparing with traditional analytics. Not only because of these in-memory capabilities, SAP HANA can fully leverage new software technology innovations, new hardware technology innovations, which makes HANA super duper fast. Now your reality with SAP HANA, whatever the challenges, whatever the consequences the enterprises are facing as a result of information explosion, how they can overcome by using SAP HANA, using a high performance analytical appliance, using a in-memory database. In SAP HANA, it's highly scalable because groundbreaking in-memory innovations. Complete data resides in the main memory itself. In-memory analytics is possible. In-memory processing is possible. In-memory calculations are possible. Second, flexibility. If you go back to this slide, so whenever a company is dealing with a situation like information explosion, what are the challenges? The challenges related to how to get the real-time data for the real-time analytics. That is one of the biggest challenge. Flexibility. You can load the data from any source system to SAP HANA. You name any source system. And one of the biggest strengths of SAP HANA is it supports real-time data access. So you can get the real-time data from any source system to SAP HANA. What is real-time data? Suppose this is a database. Once the transaction is saved in this database, right away the data is available in SAP HANA. This is SAP HANA 1.0 Service Pack 9. This is 1.0 Service Pack 9. In SAP HANA, there is a method called SLT. There are two methods. One is SLT second one is Sybase replication server. So using these methods, see this is SLT. Using these two real-time replication methods, you can replicate the real-time data from any source system to SAP HANA. That is one of the biggest strengths of SAP HANA. Replicating the real-time data from any source system, SAP or non-SAP, to SAP HANA in order to accomplish, in order to achieve your real-time analytics, which is very important for business decision making. And speed wise, as I said, always in-memory analytics is very faster when comparing with traditional analytics. The reason is, in traditional analytics, we require disk IOs, whereas in-memory analytics, the data is directly available from RAM for the reporting purpose. As of, suppose, I have to prepare the food. I don't have any grocery items in the kitchen. Then I have to drive all the way from my home to grocery store to get all the grocery items. Then I can start preparing the food. Imagine all the grocery items, a complete grocery store is my kitchen. Then I don't have to drive all the way from my home to grocery store to get all my grocery items to start preparing the food. Right away, I can start preparing the food in the kitchen, which is very faster. Second option, like this. If the data completely resides in RAM, in-memory analytics is very faster when comparing with traditional analytics. Apart from these in-memory capabilities, SAP HANA fully leverage new software technology innovations, new hardware technology innovations, which makes HANA super duper fast. Any questions, folks? Why an enterprise required SAP HANA? Okay, now let's move on to history of SAP HANA. SAP HANA High Performance Analytical Appliance released by SAP in 2010 November 20th. That is the first public release of HANA. HANA 1.0 Service Pack 0. Now we are in Service Pack 9, which is the latest version, which is the latest service pack. See, version is 1.0 Service Pack 9. Now we will analyze why SAP released SAP HANA. What is the purpose of releasing SAP HANA? Because there are so many traditional databases available in the market. Now this is the time to discuss about the big data. Maybe you guys heard about SAP HANA. Big data. What is big data? Big data refers to our data sets that exceed the ability of commonly used tools. While no formal definition based on size exists, these data sets typically reach terabytes, petabytes, or even exabytes. What is a big data? There is no formal definition for big data. Basically, the big data is the data volume which exceeds the ability of commonly used databases or traditional databases, traditional tools. I will give you an example. You are using SQL Server database. So if you are storing some 1 or 2 terabytes of data, that's fine. If you are storing like very high volume of data, then it will become slower. So what is the big data means? The big data is the size of the data which exceeds the ability of commonly used databases, commonly used tools. So when SAP released SAP HANA in up to HANA 1.0, Service Pack 0, Service Pack 1, Service Pack 2, the product strategy of SAP HANA is HANA can be used as one of the solutions for the big data. So SAP has positioned HANA as one of the solutions for the big data. Okay, at low end of scale. So what is a big data? What is a big data project? First of all, what is the market, today's market for big data? What are the different technologies or tools available for the big data? Okay, what is a big data project is? For example, take a company like Yahoo. So they have very huge volume of data. Like any social media company or financial institutes or retail sectors or telecom sectors. So they want to manage their big data, not using traditional databases, not using traditional tools. If they are using traditional databases and traditional tools, just now we discussed about the problems, right? What are the challenges? What are the consequences? Why we require a specialized big data solutions? So they will use a specific technology or specific tools which are specialized to store the big data. That is nothing but using a big data project. A client is dealing with a big data. They have the data in different source systems, different databases. They want to streamline their complete data using one big data solution. They want to implement a big data project. So next 10 years, take my word, the future is for big data. Current market worth of big data is 24 billion US dollars. Now what are the different tools and technologies that are available to manage the big data? The first one is Apache Hadoop. Hadoop is one of the solutions for big data, which is a cluster-based solution. Cluster-based solution in the sense, instead of storing the big data in one machine, we will store the big data in several machines controlled by a master machine, a network of computers. So we'll store the data in several machines using HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System, and for processing the data, we'll use a programming language called Java-based programming language, MapReduce. Second one is SAP HANA. SAP HANA is an in-memory based solution for the big data. What is in-memory based solution? The complete data resides in the RAM itself. It doesn't matter, it's petabytes of data or hundreds of terabytes of data. Very faster when comparing with Hadoop. That is the reason nowadays most of the enterprises are using Hadoop and HANA both, because whenever they require the faster reporting, they can load the data from Hadoop to HANA in order to achieve very faster results. That is the reason from Service Pack 8 onwards, SAP has given so many new features, especially so many new features related to integration with Hadoop. In Service Pack 9 also, you can see Hadoop enhancements. There are so many enhancements is given by SAP related to integration with Hadoop as well. From Support Pack 8 on only we have the integration. Still, the integration has been enhanced. Well, other are HP Vertica. There is a technology developed by Vertica, company Vertica. Later it's acquired by HP. It's also one of the tools for the big data. Then EMC Greenplum. But most of very commonly used technology in the market as of now is these two. Well, these also now picking up, but customers are already get used to use Hadoop and HANA. Hadoop in first place, followed by SAP HANA. At launch, HANA started with 1 terabyte of RAM, supporting up to 5 terabytes of uncompressed data. One of the biggest strengths in SAP HANA is, in SAP HANA, the data is stored in form of column-based tables. We have concept of column-based table. We'll see this one. Whenever we are storing the data using column-based tables in SAP HANA, one of the biggest strengths of SAP HANA is, when comparing with Hadoop, in Hadoop, the data is stored in file system. Hadoop Distributed File System, HDFS. But in SAP HANA, we'll store the data, though it's a in-memory database, it's a RDBMS. It satisfies all 9 core rules of RDBMS. So here also the data will be stored in form of tables. So again, it supports 2 types of tables. That's a different story, row-based tables and column-based tables. Whenever we are storing the data using column-based tables, the data is highly compressed. Suppose you have 1 terabyte of data in traditional database. If you are loading 1 terabyte of data in SAP HANA, it hardly becomes 150 GB. That is the compression rate. So if you have 1 terabyte of RAM, it doesn't mean you can store only 1 terabyte of data in HANA. No. Okay, 5 terabytes. So 40 terabytes. And in May 2012, it's 2.5-year-old statistics. HANA was able to run on server with 100 terabyte of main memory. SAP built an HANA appliance with 100 terabytes of main memory. Hasso Plattner, who is the project in charge, claimed that the system was big enough to run 8 largest SAP customers' data. One HANA system can accommodate 8 largest SAP customers' data, 8 companies' data. Just think about now, HANA server is available hundreds of terabytes of RAM. Now look at the capacity of SAP HANA. Well, whenever SAP released SAP HANA, there are various service packs in SAP HANA. Up to HANA 1.0 Service Pack 2. Suppose you are a businessman. You are launching a product in the market. Very good question. So I will answer this question in HANA sizing. So we have a separate session on HANA sizing. So there are different vendors from which you can purchase this HANA appliance. Who are the certified vendors? Like IBM, HP, Cisco, Fujitsu, Dell, NEC, Hitachi. So it depends upon your data size, how much data you want to accommodate. You can go for different sizes of HANA. Start with extra small, small, medium, large, extra large. Yeah, I will come to that question. Okay. Well, whenever a client is implementing SAP HANA as a data mart, or SAP HANA is one of the solutions for the big data. See, whenever we are releasing a product in the market, a business is releasing a product, a company is releasing the product in the market, first they will decide who is the target group. What is a target group? In marketing, we have the concept of target group. So to whom we supposed to sell this product, right? Suppose whenever I'm launching a new model of laptop, HP is launching a new model laptop or notebook. What is the target group? The target group, university students, IT professionals, people who are related to office work, all this target group, not kids with 1 to 5 years age group, right? So in the same way, what is target group of SAP? Up to Service Pack 2 is the customers, the companies who wants to implement the big data project. So up to Support Pack 2, HANA supports. What is the product strategy of HANA? HANA can be used as a data mart only. Means HANA can be used as one of the solution for the big data. Okay. Whenever a client is using SAP HANA as one of the solution for the big data, what are the major stages in that project? Whenever a client wants to use SAP HANA as a data mart, or SAP HANA is one of the solution for the big data, there are 3 main stages in that project. First one is data provisioning. In SAP HANA, what is data provisioning is loading the data from different source system to SAP HANA is nothing but data provisioning. If you look at this slide, there are so many sources, there are so many systems in the client landscape. They want to load all the data on periodic basis, on real-time basis to SAP HANA for the reporting purpose. They want to manage all their big data using SAP HANA. In that case, we have to load the data from different source system to SAP HANA. That comes under data provisioning. Once we install SAP HANA system, or once we purchase this SAP HANA appliance from any one of the certified vendor like Dell, HP, Fujitsu, Cisco. So by creating different tables in corresponding schemas, first stage in the project is data provisioning. What is data provisioning? Loading the data from different source systems to SAP HANA. Loading the data from different source system to SAP HANA database. Well, for loading the data from different source system to SAP HANA, what are the different data provisioning methods given by SAP? First, we can load the data from directly flat files to SAP HANA. That is called direct flat file upload method. If you look at this system landscape, there are some file system in the system landscape, in the client system landscape. So first data provisioning method is we can directly load the data from the file systems to SAP HANA. Second, ETL based approach. This is very important. This is very important. What is ETL based approach? In ETL based approach, for example, there is a source system in the client landscape. There is a source system in the client landscape. The data in that source system not in its original shape. Before loading the data to SAP HANA, we need complex transformations to be performed. Transformations in the sense data massaging, data cleansing, data consolidation. The way how the business wants to store the data in SAP HANA as per the reporting needs, as per other business needs. So before loading the data to SAP HANA, because the data in that source system is not in its original shape, we need complex data transformations to be performed. In that case, we'll use ETL based replication. In ETL based replication, the certified ETL tool, extract, transform and load. The certified ETL tool is Business Object Data Services, SAP BOTS. It supports the version 4.0, 4.1, 4.2. In this course, we'll learn 4.2, which is the latest version with Service Pack 9. This is Service Pack 8, HANA Service Pack 8. So BODS 4.2. So Business Object Data Services is a GUI based ETL tool like Informatica Data Stage, which supports various types of transforms. So using Business Object Data Services, see, even we can load the data from Hadoop. See, Hadoop distributed file system to SAP HANA. So it supports various types of transforms. It's a graphical user interface tool. It supports various types of transforms like data integrated transform, data quality transform, platform test transform, text data processing transform. And apart from that, there are so many predefined functions. And we can write the scripts also in order to accomplish very complex ETL requirements. In fact, SAP has given new transforms in support pack 9. Say smart data quality, filter and sort transforms, data cleansing transforms, data generation transform, pivot transform, reverse pivot transform, the lookup transform. All these are the new in service pack 9. So using all these transforms and using predefined functions, there are so many predefined functions supported by business object data services, like aggregate functions, conversion functions, custom functions, database functions. We can use all these predefined transforms in order to accomplish our complex data transformations before loading the data to SAP HANA. Well, you are working for a consulting company. Sometimes the company says we need to have very good client-facing skills because you are approaching on behalf of a consulting company to a client. You have to understand the client requirements. You have to give the suggestions, recommendations. So whatever the source system in which they required, they don't have the data as per their business needs in SAP HANA. You have to recommend them to go for ETL-based approach. So in ETL-based approach, we'll use a ETL tool called Business Object Data Services to load the data to SAP HANA. As of now, its supporting versions are 4.0, 4.1, 4.2. As I said just now, one of the biggest strengths of SAP HANA is real-time replication. Well, in SAP HANA is very famous for real-time reporting. The clients who wants to implement the real-time reports for spontaneous decision making, getting the real-time data for them from different source system is very important for reporting. So from a source system, the client required real-time data for SAP HANA to build the operational data model. In that case, if they required real-time data to SAP HANA, SAP has given 2 data provisioning methods for real-time replication. See, there are different data provisioning methods given by SAP for different needs of a customer. Well, the customer in the system landscape, they have some source system in which the data is not in its original shape. Based on the data models, the data is not in its original shape but has been transformed before loading the data to SAP HANA. Then go for ETL-based approach. Now, the client needs from a specific source system real-time data to SAP HANA. Then we cannot go for business object data services. From those source systems, we have to implement SLTE, SAP Landscape Transformation, and Sybase Replication Server. These 2 are the real-time replication methods given by SAP in order to achieve the real-time replication for real-time analytics. That is one of the biggest strengths of SAP HANA. And this real-time replication, we can replicate the data, real-time data to SAP HANA not only from SAP source system. Using SLT, you can replicate the data from non-SAP source system like PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, Oracle ERPs, any other source systems. And apart from that, different data provisioning methods given by SAP, direct extractor connection for remote sources, small data access, all this will be covering in this course. Once the data has been loaded to SAP HANA tables using various data provisioning methods as per the client requirements, the second stage in SAP HANA is one of the big data solution project is modeling. So what is modeling? Designing information models using these HANA database tables. So these are the tables. Now the client required multi-dimensional reports. In order to facilitate multi-dimensional reports, we have to design a model. Like we can design calculation views, analytical views, attribute views. So designing various information models in order to facilitate our reporting requirements is nothing but modeling. So once the modeling is done using a tool called SAP HANA Studio, then third stage in SAP HANA project is reporting. HANA as a data mart, or HANA is one of the solutions for the big data. Why the enterprise require the big data in SAP HANA? Eventually we require the data for reporting. It doesn't matter if the client is using HP Vertica or Hadoop, eventually the data we need for the reporting. On top of SAP HANA, the certified reporting tools are SAP BOBI, Business Objects Business Intelligence Tools, 4.0 and 4.1. We are going to learn 4.0 and 4.1 in this course. So Web Intelligence for ad hoc reporting, Dashboard Report for dashboard reports or for reports with visualization, Crystal Reports for enterprise. These three reporting tools require the universe on top of SAP HANA. We'll design the universe using information design tool, then we'll start reporting using these tools. Other reporting tools like Business Object Explorer, Business Objects Analysis, Crystal Reports, they can directly connect to SAP HANA. Now, there are so many projects in the market, my friends, where the client required a SAP HANA resource in order to work their big data projects. Whenever you want to work in a big data project, a client is using SAP HANA as a big data project, what type of skill set the client will expect from a resource? Just I'm opening a couple of job requirements. Okay, look at this requirement. The job requirement is SAP HANA Data Modeler. Means the client is implementing SAP HANA as one of the big data solution. Someone raised the hand. Yeah, I will come to your question, friend. Okay. Yeah, Siddharth Reddy, you raised your hand. I will come to your question. So just why I designed, just I want to do the justification why I designed the course content like this, because now I'm going to show you what are the course content will be covering. See, this client required converting functional specifications, okay, identifying the attributes, measures and hierarchies, designing the attribute views, calculation views, HANA calculation views. So this is HANA Modeler question. HANA Modeler means the client is using SAP HANA as a data mart. This project is HANA as a data mart project, means big data project. Now this project is in San Jose. So SAP HANA lead consultant. See, they are asking, so experience with loading the data from integration tools including ETL, means loading the data to SAP HANA, data provisioning, okay, information modeling and reporting. Means the client is, this project is a data mart, HANA as a data mart project. See, so whenever a client is implementing HANA as a data mart, so in that project, how many stages we have? 3 stages. Data provisioning, loading the data from different source system to SAP HANA, then modeling and reporting. So if you look at this requirement, so this requirement, the client is asking, okay, modeling, reporting and data provisioning. Means the client is implementing HANA as one of the solution for the big data. So in this course, first we'll start learning SAP HANA as a data mart. because there are so many projects in the market. The clients require HANA resource who can do the data provisioning part, modeling part, and reporting part. So this is the course content, HANA 1.0 Service Pack 9. So first we'll start with introduction to SAP HANA. What is SAP HANA? What is in-memory strategy? Some basics, blah, blah, blah. Then SAP HANA Studio. SAP HANA Studio Service Pack 9, not Service Pack 8. Then SAP HANA architecture in various prospects, in database prospect, in support pack 9. Okay, data provisioning prospect, modeling prospect, reporting prospect, BW and HANA prospect. Then data provisioning using Service Pack 9, because in Service Pack 9, SAP has given so many new transforms, especially with business object data services. That is called smart data streaming using data services. So first we'll start with, after the completion of these basics of SAP HANA, HANA architecture, SAP HANA Studio, then data provisioning. In data provisioning, first flat file. Second one is data provisioning using business object data services, ETL based approach. And which version of business object data services we'll be learning? 4.2. As of you are learning an ETL tool from the start, I will start with business object data services, architecture, okay, repositories, and how to create the component hierarchy, okay, how to create the jobs, workflows, data flows, and how to use the different types of transforms. This is very important. To load the data to SAP HANA. See, we have different types of transforms in business object data services, like data integrated transforms, platform transforms, okay, including Service Pack 9 new features. And we load the data from different SAP source systems like SAP ECC, SAP CRM, okay, and non-SAP source system like Oracle, SQL Server. And for what type of reporting? We'll load for finance scenarios, sales scenarios, marketing scenarios. So I will call a little bit of information steward also. So once we completed, okay, data provisioning using business object data services, including the new features given by SAP for Service Pack 9, that is smart data streaming using data services. So okay, this is the new transforms, filter and sort transforms, data cleansing transforms, lookup transforms, okay, key generation transform, table comparison transform, and history preservation transforms. Then we will move on to SLT. And SLT and business object data services are one of the very commonly used data provisioning methods. So many project requirements. You will ask 1 minute, folks. Sorry, folks. So then we'll move on to SLT. SLT, complete setting of SLT, configuration of SLT, what are the transformation capabilities provided in SLT, how to write the ABAP includes, all these concepts. Then other data provisioning methods like direct extractor connection, smart data access. Once we completed data provisioning part, I have shown a couple of project requirements. Especially the clients are expecting modeling skills from the resource. How to design various types of information models for various types of scenarios. For finance scenarios, sales scenarios, procurement scenarios, CRM scenarios. Then we'll start with SAP HANA modeling. So modeling I will cover in depth all the new features starting with Service Pack 7, star data model, okay, how to create the calculation view, So calculation views, okay, analytical views, attribute views for finance scenarios, accounts payable, account receivable, COPA, sales, sales order header, item, procurement, purchase orders. So these are the advanced topics. Also will cover currency conversion, SQL and all. Then after completing HANA modeling, then we'll move on to reporting. So in reporting, what is HANA reporting layer? So as I said, Web Intelligence, Dashboard Design, Crystal Reports for Enterprise. These three tools require the universe on top of SAP HANA. SAP Business Objects BA 4.0 and 4.1. Designing the complex universes in IDT and UDT. Webby report development, Crystal report development, Dashboard report development. And the new tools also will be covering. The new and very important tool nowadays every client is asking is SAP Lumira. And for business object solution, business suite solution, SAP Ferry also. So all other. So in this course, first we'll learn HANA as a data mart, or HANA as one of the solution for the big data. Now some questions, students are raising the hand. Yes, I will answer your questions. Demo is not finished yet. So you cannot. Now you guys can see my screen. Siddharth, can you see my screen? Mr. Siddharth? Siddharth unmuted you. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, demo is not finished yet, my friends. It will take half an hour more. Please be patient. When SAP released Service Pack 3, HANA 1.0 Service Pack 3, the complete product strategy of HANA has been changed. So up to Service Pack 2, HANA can be used as a data mart, or HANA is one of the solutions for the big data. So loading the data from different source systems to SAP HANA, data modeling and reporting. When SAP released Support Pack 3, HANA can be used as a data mart, and if the client is using SAP BW 7.3 with Service Pack 5 in their landscape, we can use SAP HANA as underlying database for BW. So SAP HANA accelerates the BW performance. So in this course, we learned SAP BW 7.4 with Service Pack 8 with HANA Service Pack 9 as underlying database. No system there. This is HANA 1.0 Service Pack 8. See HANA BW 7.0 with Service Pack 8, and underlying database is SAP HANA, and what is the version? 1.0 Service Pack 9, latest version. Now you can see, if you are any one of you from BW background, now you can see the complete look and feel is also changed. So once we completed HANA as a data mart, then we start learning BW 7.4 with Service Pack 8 to SAP HANA. So the new concepts of in-memory optimized info cubes, in-memory optimized DSOs, okay, all the new Service Pack 8, BW 7.4 with Service Pack 8 features. Okay, using advanced DS4s, okay, and the migration part, because I worked with 3 migration projects from client using BW 7.4 from traditional database to HANA database. So after completing BW7 HANA as underlying database for BW, how it will accelerate BW query performance, ETL performance, HANA optimized info cubes, HANA optimized DS4s, how to create the composite providers using SAP HANA Studio, okay, using more BW modeling, prospective. So yeah, we have to install this one. So this is a web prospective, the new one given by SAP. Using this also we can create calculation views and all. Okay. So this option given by SAP in Service Pack 8 only. So you don't have to log into SAP BW to create the composite providers. In SAP HANA Studio, there is a new prospective, that is BW modeling. So this is the BW modeling. So using this BW modeling only, you can create composite providers. Then remaining like user management, security, and so as a part of this course, you have to complete for every class, you will be having the assignments. And once we are done with course, I will be giving some POC projects, end-to-end projects. So as a part of this course, we'll give the access to the blog, training blog. So let me show you what is the training blog. So once we enroll for the course, so we have, this is the Google Sites. Using Google Site, we will provide the training blog. Here, you can see the complete course content, what we'll be covering. Okay, these are course content just now I was going through. Then once the class is done, this is Service Pack 8. So corresponding recording will be posted here. So assignments. This is the blog for one of ongoing batch. Okay, the assignments for each and every class we have the assignments, and if you have any queries, you can post the queries here for the instructor. So once anyone is posting the query, you will get right away access to the blog. Okay, the instructor will respond for your queries, and we'll give all certification questions. In fact, after completion of each and every topic, we'll conduct a mock examination test, that is in the form of quiz. So that's as a part of assignment. So assignments not only includes hands-on assignments, so it will include quizzes also. So you'll be having the access to the blog for 6 months. So you can go through the recordings a number of times. And as a part of this course, because whenever you are in a project environment, whenever a client is implementing SAP HANA, you will be working with so many tools, so many technologies. The similar kind of environment, okay, we simulated here. So the system access, the sandbox access will be given using remote desktop connection. So using your Windows environment or Mac environment, you can connect to the computer name, everyone will have dedicated username password. It's not shareable. So once you logged into RDP, in RDP, first you have HANA 1.0 Service Pack 9. The latest support pack, recently released by SAP. We'll be covering all the new features of support pack 9. In fact, I included support pack 9 features also, what we'll be covering in this course curriculum. Then for data provisioning, we need access to business object data services, SAP BODS 4.2, we have 4.2, then SLT to practice data provisioning and remote smart data access, direct extractor connection, all these methods. And we'll give some source systems for extracting the data. Some SAP source systems like SAP ECC, SAP CRM, non-SAP source systems like Oracle, SQL Server. And for one of the SAP ECC source system, we also configured the SLT. You can see business object data services. And the new version of SAP HANA support pack 9 SAP HANA Studio for modeling and for reporting, SAP BOBA 4.1, the latest reporting tools, including SAP Lumira, Business Object Design Studio, see all SAP BOBA 4.1 reporting tools. Okay. And to practice BW with SAP HANA, so we are providing BW 7.4 with latest service pack, which is Service Pack 8. Because there are so many projects also with BW with SAP HANA. So you will get all these access to these tools with SAP HANA because HANA does not work alone. HANA required, okay, BODS for ETL based approach, SLT configuration, okay, SAP HANA Studio, SAP BOBA 4.0, 4.1 reporting tools, okay, ECC system, okay, for practice purpose, loading the data using SLT, Business Object Data Services, SAP CRM. So ECC also we are providing the new ECC, not 6.0, ECC 7.0 with enhancement pack 5. Then we'll cover all the new features of SAP HANA Service Pack 9, like HANA Dynamic Tiering, okay? Then calculation views, how to create using web integrated development environment, and new text analysis, Hadoop integration, what are the new transforms, like this. Because this is Service Pack 9 course. Five more minutes, folks, then I'm ready to take your questions. Only 5 more minutes. Well, what is SAP HANA? SAP HANA is an appliance with a combination of software and hardware. With a combination of software and hardware. So basically, what are the different components that comes along with this HANA appliance? It depends upon what type of edition the client is going for. Basically, HANA is available in 3 editions. One is Platform Edition, Enterprise Edition, Extended Enterprise Edition. Depends upon the edition, the number of components comes along with SAP HANA appliance. Okay, Platform Edition is a basic edition. Platform Edition is a basic edition, is for customers who already have a licensed version of Business Object Data Services. If a customer, if they have already a licensed version of Business Object Data Services, they can go for this Platform Edition. The following are the subcomponents. The main and core component in SAP HANA is SAP HANA database. That is, you can say, heart of SAP HANA. This is SAP HANA in-memory database. This is called IMCE, in-memory computing engine. That is the core component in SAP HANA, heart of SAP HANA, or HANA in-memory database, or HANA database server. Second component is SAP HANA Studio. So what is SAP HANA Studio? SAP HANA Studio is a client tool, like Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. SAP HANA is also a client tool to connect to SAP HANA database in order to perform modeling activities, administration activities. Then SAP HANA client components to connect to reporting tools. SAP HANA host agent, a business user tool to impose the data, and information composer is obsolete. The new tool is SAP Lumira. So we are going to learn SAP Lumira also. Enterprise Edition. Enterprise Edition is for customers who do not have already all necessary license for SAP Business Object Data Services. A client, they do not have any licensed version of Business Object Data Services, okay, and they want to implement data provisioning methods like ETL based approach as well as SLT. Then they cannot go for Platform Edition. In Platform Edition, we have very few components that is only suitable for customers who already have a licensed version of Business Object Data Services. So what are the components that comes along with Enterprise Edition? SAP HANA Database, Studio, Client, Host Component, SAP Lumira, and SAP Business Object Data Services. And in order to implement SLT, what are the components we required? SLT Replication Server and SLT Replication Add-on. Third one is Enterprise Edition. So Enterprise Edition is for customers who want to use the full potential of all available features. Following are the subcomponents: SAP HANA Database, Studio, Client, Host Agent, Information Composer, SLT, as well as the client will get other data provisioning methods such as Sybase Replication Server. In order to implement the Sybase Replication Server, we require Sybase Adaptive Server, Sybase Replication Server, Sybase Replication Server Agent, and Load Controller. Well, what is SAP HANA? SAP HANA is a appliance with a combination of software and hardware, which can fully leverage new hardware technology innovations, new software technology innovations, which makes HANA super duper fast. Now we'll see what are the new software technology innovations and new hardware technology innovations that HANA can fully leverage, which makes HANA super duper fast. First, we'll start with hardware technology innovations. HANA will support very high-end hardware technology innovations, like HANA supports multi-core CPUs. Again, 10 cores in each CPU, multi-CPU boards, 8 CPUs again in each board, multi-server boards into boards, massive memory setups, terabytes of RAM. So thousands of cores, hundreds of terabytes of RAM. That is the reason in SAP HANA, it supports only 2 processors of Intel, because normal processor cannot support these type of hardware technology innovations. One is Intel Nehalem, second one is Intel Westmere. If you look at the product availability matrix from any vendor, so what is the CPU? Nehalem and Westmere. So multi-core CPUs, again 10 cores in each CPU. Multi-CPU boards, again 8 CPUs in each board. Multi-server boards into boards, massive memory setups. Coming to hardware technology, software technology innovations, HANA supports row and column based tables. It supports 2 types of tables. These are the column-based tables, these are the row-based tables. Column-based tables are highly recommended whenever you want to store the data in SAP HANA for the reporting purpose. Whenever we are storing the data in column-based tables for the reporting purpose, we have 2 advantages. So what is row-based table is? In row-based tables, the data will be stored in the form of rows, will be retrieved in the form of rows, like any traditional database. But here row-based tables also resides in the main memory. In column-based tables, the data will be stored in the form of columns, will be retrieved in the form of columns. So whenever the data is stored in the form of columns and retrieved in the form of columns, it's highly optimized for the reporting. So column-based tables, highly optimized. The data reading process is very faster for the reporting. And whenever you are storing the data in the form of column-based tables, the data is highly compressible. What is the compression factor is? If you have 1 terabyte of data in traditional database, if you are loading the same amount of data to SAP HANA, hardly it's 150 GB to 200 GB. Look at the compression factor. Well, row-based tables will be used whenever we are using SAP HANA as underlying database for transactional systems. In later support packs, HANA will support as underlying database for SAP ECC. HANA will support as underlying from support pack 3, HANA will support as underlying database for BW. So in later support packs, HANA will support as underlying database for ECC, which is a transactional system. HANA will support as underlying database for SAP CRM. From 2.0 version of SAP HANA, HANA will support as underlying database not only for SAP SAP systems, SAP Business Suite applications, SAP systems, as well as for non-SAP source systems also. In that case, we can use one HANA database for entire system landscape. So we don't have to use, suppose a client is having a Java application. For this Java application, they are using some database, a traditional database. They have a .NET application. They are using SQL Server database. So they have other data application like PeopleSoft. With PeopleSoft, they are using Oracle. In 2.0 version of SAP HANA, so now the client is spending separately, giving the checks for this database vendor, this database vendor, this database vendor. In 2.0, it's a one HANA database for underlying database for all the applications. It doesn't matter how many applications you have in your landscape. One HANA DB. Again, this application development environment, testing environment, production. This is the product strategy of SAP HANA in 2.0 version. What is the advantage? The advantage is reduce the overall cost. The client can save a lot of cost. Maximize the performance. When comparing with traditional databases, HANA database performance is very fast because it's an in-memory database. So whenever we are using SAP HANA as underlying database for any transactional system, for transactional systems, row-based tables are recommended. And whenever we are storing SAP HANA as a big data, whatever the data we are storing for SAP HANA for the reporting purpose, store in column-based tables. Using column-based tables, column layout supports sequential memory access. A simple aggregate can be processed in one linear scan. Massive parallel processing possible per column. So all these extra features are possible, extra options are possible for column-based tables, eventually improving reporting performance for column-based tables. And other one is data distribution, so partitioning. So in SAP HANA, we can have thousands of cores. So it supports, if you look at the hardware configurations, what are the new hardware technology innovations it supports? Multi-core CPUs, again 10 cores in each CPU, multi-CPU boards, again 8 CPUs in each board, multi-server boards, means we can have thousands of cores, hundreds of thousands of cores. We can take the advantage of these many cores for data partitioning. What is data partitioning or data distribution? The data gets spread out to all available cores. And all these cores will process parallelly for a faster retrieval of the data. Even in case one core is also failed, we don't have much impact in the retrieval process because whatever the responsibility that is allocated for the core will automatically switch to an active available core. Now we have seen, first of all, HANA is supporting in-memory capabilities. In-memory analytics are possible. Apart from that, HANA can fully leverage new hardware technology innovations, new software technology innovations. So this is one of the POC conducted by a company. So 70 retailers, they combine 460 billion records, total 50 terabytes of data. A complex query was tested. Before without HANA, it was taking 77 minutes. With SAP HANA, 13 seconds. Some normal queries, average response time is 0.04 seconds. This POC with 50 terabytes of data. Recently, NASA conducted a POC with SAP HANA with not terabytes of data, with petabyte of data. One petabyte equivalent to 1024 terabytes. If you look at this POC with only terabytes of data. But recently NASA conducted a POC with petabytes of data. And the results are coming back in seconds. Well, there are two options. The client can purchase this appliance from certified vendors, or they can build the HANA appliance. If the client is going for a HANA appliance from a certified vendor, who are the certified vendors? There are 7 to 8 certified vendors: IBM, HP, Cisco, Fujitsu, Dell, NEC, Hitachi. From these vendors, the HANA appliance is available Okay, these are the product availability metrics. Again, what is the size? Because as of my data storage requirements, maybe I don't need a HANA appliance with 100 terabytes of RAM or 200 terabytes of RAM. So it depends upon your data and other requirements. You can go for one of the different sizes of HANA appliance. So basically the HANA appliance is available in t-shirt size, starting with extra small, small. If it is small, extra small, these are the configuration. Small, medium, long, extra long, even you can specify how many terabytes of memory required as per the client requirements. Now, target audience. What are the prerequisites for this course? Well, the basic prerequisites, because in this course, if you look at our course content, we are teaching in depth of data provisioning using business object data services, and we are covering some more reporting also here. So we are covering all these tools from the scratch. So basically, we need to have the target audience needs to have basics of RDBMS, basics of data warehousing concepts, and SQL. Well, if you are a BW consultant, after going through this, so you can upgrade your skill set. Native HANA means HANA as a data mart, BW with SAP HANA for good career prospects, okay, for better billing. If you are a BOBA consultant, okay, after completion of this course, you can, from next project onwards, you can go as a specialized with the HANA with SAP BOBA. If you have working experience or if you are already trained in any SAP module, it's well and good. Though if you don't have any experience with any other SAP module, don't worry. Still you can go for the course. Only the prerequisites we required is RDBMS, data warehousing, basic concepts of data warehousing. Though I will be covering the basics of data warehousing before starting modeling, you need to have some SQL concepts. Well, if you are already SAP consultant, okay, if you are already BW consultant or SAP BOBA consultant or SAP BODS consultant or ECC SD consultant or CRM consultant, so it's going to be add-on skill for your existing SAP skills. So even if you want to remain in SAP world, down the road after 6 months, you cannot get rid of SAP HANA. If you want to remain in SAP world, the consultants who are working in SAP, already the SAP consultants, you have to go for SAP HANA, because down the road SAP integrating SAP HANA with each and every product of SAP. That can be SAP BW or SAP Business Suite applications. So you cannot get rid of HANA if you want to remain in SAP world, if you are a SAP consultant. But it depends upon what is your experience, what is your background. After completion of this course, you can target the jobs. For example, a university passed out student. After completion of this course, just basically you can go as a HANA junior developer, okay, HANA modeler, junior level of modeler, that kind of jobs. Now you already have very good experience in the data warehousing. You are an Informatica consultant or Cognos consultant. So you worked as a data architect or data modeler or solution architect. After completion of this course also, because this is a different tools, you already have such a good experience in your other data warehousing tools or other data warehousing technology, okay, after completion of this course, okay, you can target similar type of jobs because you have a very good experience and you are already a project manager, okay, in non-data warehousing tools, non-data warehousing technology. After completion of this course, you can apply as a project manager in SAP HANA technologies. Like this, so it depends upon your experience, okay, what is your background. After completion of the course, you have to target different types of jobs. Suppose you are working as a tester, okay, you want to learn this course. After completion of this, I would recommend to go for first some junior level of jobs. So 3 to 4 years of experience jobs. So once you have one hands-on experience, then you can target very senior level of jobs. Okay, so my honest, okay, suggestion is, if you have any SAP, if you worked with any SAP tool like SAP BW, SAP BOBA, SAP BODS, it's advantage, added advantage. Even if you don't have any SAP experience, you can go for this course. Because why I am saying like this is, so we are covering every tool in detail. Suppose if you are not covering, okay, business object data services in detail, we are covering in only 2-3 sessions, then the prerequisite is supposed to know business object data services. You're supposed to know SAP BOBI. We are not covering in detail of SAP BOBI. That is the reason the basic prerequisite for this course is RDBMS, basic concepts of RDBMS like tables, primary keys, foreign keys, okay, and cardinalities, the basic understanding of SQL. Coming to the job market. So as I was going through some of the project requirements, so the projects are there in SAP HANA Data Mart, means SAP HANA is one of the solutions for the big data. The projects are there, HANA with Hadoop integration projects. The projects are there with BW with SAP HANA, BOBI with SAP HANA. In all these areas, so as of now, the jobs are available in the market. Well, what is the difference between Support Pack 8 and Support Pack 9? In Support Pack 8 and Support Pack 9, the main difference are there are new IDEs are given by SAP. IDE means Integrated Development Environment. Suppose in Support Pack 9, if I want to create a calculation view, so we have an option of creating calculation view using Web IDE. Okay, Web IDE. So there is a new concept given by SAP in Support Pack 9 where we don't have in Service Pack 8, that is dynamic tiering. So we don't have data streaming concept in Service Pack 8. Apart from that, there are some security new options given by SAP like repository load editor in Service Pack 9. And text analysis, okay, new enhancements are added to text analysis in Service Pack 9. And integration with the Hadoop enhanced in Support Pack 9. And there is a new concept in Business Object Data Services, that's smart data streaming. In smart data streaming, so smart data quality, there are different transforms like filter and sort transformations, data cleansing transforms, data smart quality, date generation transforms. All these are some of the new features. Well, as a part of this course, so I will show you the complete what is the difference between Support Pack 8 and Support Pack 9. Just to answer your question, I listed some of them. Yes. Now, whoever are having the questions, please raise your hand so that I can unmute you to discuss your question further. So in GoToMeeting, in GoToWebinar, there is an option raise your hand. Yes, Mr. Srinivasan raised the hand. First, I will unmute Srinivasan. Yes, Srinivasan, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I would like to know what will be the cost of this course.
Well, coming to the cost of the course, I'm not 100% sure because I'm only the instructor. Okay, so I have to ask other administrator, admin people, what is the cost. So we will let you know using the email. Okay, what is the cost? To tell you the truth, I don't know what is the cost of this course. Only I'm the instructor for this course.
All right.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Once I finish this course, can I go straightly to certification?
Very good question. Yeah, as I said, this course will prepare you for certification as well. Once we completed each and every topic, in each and every topic we'll be conducting mock certification exam. And apart from that, we'll give a certification dump. From that dump only you will get most of the certification questions. Our previous students got like 90, 95%, 98% also passing score in their certifications. So once you complete the course, from the day one if you prepare for the certification, even you don't have to wait a single day. So after the finishing of the course, you can go right away for the certification.
So we have many certifications in that. SAP has provided many certifications. Which certification can I go for this?
You can go for there is a Support Pack 9 C_IMP_. I will give the examination code name. Okay, you can go for that certification exam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yes, any other questions, folks? Yes, Nishu. Yeah, Nishu, you don't have phone. Your phone is not activated. So can you type your question in chat window, please? Okay. Can you please type your question in the chat window, please? Yes, in the window. Okay. Yes, yes, your hand, sir, is provided with the question.
So what's the,
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
yeah, what's the duration of this course? What is the duration
The
of the
course,
course?
60 to 65 hours. 60 to 65 hours.
Sorry, your voice.
The duration of the course is 60 to 65 hours. 60 to 65 hours.
Okay, okay. Can we also like to know all the details about the course? Can you share us the sites.google link, whatever you are saying, so that we can know like what is the course content and what's the course
Yes.
duration and whom to contact for any details and all.
Yes.
I mean,
We already shared the course content and the course duration on the Google site also.
okay. I don't have the email of that
Yes,
site,
sir. Can you
Google
please
site.
go? Yeah, we'll give the Google site. Okay, we'll send you the Google site today along with the course content. Okay, after the session, once we're done with the session. Yes, Vishnu, I am the instructor, ma'am. My name is Ilyas. Okay, I am the instructor for this course. I am the person who is giving this demo. I am the person who is going to take care of this batch. I am the instructor for this course. So we don't conduct a demo with one instructor. We don't go to the instructor. We don't do that. So myself is the instructor for this course. Yeah, I will explain the difference between service packet and service packaging. Okay. And in the course also, we'll be focusing more on service packet and service packaging. So these are some of the difference between service pack new features in service packaging, and we will see what are the service package also and how service package and service packaging comparing with service package, what are the new features given by service packaging. So that is very big part to compare the service packaging features. I already answered this question by giving some of the new features in service packaging. So in service packaging, SAP has given the new options and comparing with service packages. There is a concept of dynamic data pairing. Then there are some web IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Using web environment also we can create calibration and all. And there are some new security options, text analysis, top integration with HANA enhancements, and smart data streaming using business object data services. So SAP have all these are new concepts given by SAP for the SAP HANA for business applications. All these are the new features we have in the service package when compared with the service package. So that's a long discussion. We'll see in the course. Yeah, any other questions, folks? You guys can type the answer in the document. Service package and service packaging features. We will cover in the course. Yeah, any other question, folks? You guys can raise your hand. You can take question in the chat window. I'll answer your question better in the chat as well. Well, if you guys don't have any questions, so I'll wind up this session today here. Thanks for attending this demonstration. I appreciate everyone's time. Have a good night, everyone.